So, what is it about Biden now that makes him so electable, quote unquote? What is it that makes Biden capable of beating Trump? What is it that makes Biden better than Bernie? So obvious, the freaking culture coming to us uh, from from the media and all the information we're hearing from this large, broad thing called the media. It's completely freaking out of touch. It's so obvious. It's completely out of touch, completely disconnected from regular thinking. Yet, it's still able to manipulate and modify and insert sort of to it's able to initiate all sorts of thinking in folks everywhere, people everywhere. It's so powerful. It's just we just programmed and tuned into feeding off things in certain ways and reacting to the media and trusting it in certain ways. And so, yeah, people want to vote for Biden. And I guess that is it's on a basis of Russia interfered last election and socialism is a really bad concept, so we can't vote for somebody who wants to give us clean water and good jobs and pay and healthcare, who's grew up in this country, lived here for 80 years, and is not a secret communist. But hey, the Cold War was real, and people, not to make light of it, people have the lingering sense of being scared about all that. I'm not the one manipulating their emotions based on this concept, but hey, people have their justifications and their bases for wanting to support Biden and their logic, but it's based off of their facts that they're getting from, like, let's say MSNBC. And it used to make sense. It used to all make sense. I used to watch MSNBC and believe in liberals up until 2015, but I've known that there's something wrong with the media for a long time, since, early 2000s. And when I was watching, the 2004 situation and the 2004 primary, it felt to me like a lot of the media was just doing George W. Bush's bidding, and then a lot of the other people were still doing corporate bidding all the way back then. And it felt to me like a big part of their role was to actually, task of theirs was to actually define and help shape and sculpt and bring the American left to a certain contentedness with the primary victor, so that the media would tell you who was popular, who was likely to win, and then they would tell you who won. And who knows if the polls are right? Who knows if anything's right? But the media does a large part in painting the picture of who's got the viability, and that's their purpose. If the pharmaceutical companies had spent 24 billion, like John Oliver said, in just 1 year advertising, of course the pharmaceutical companies would spend a half a billion through Michael Bloomberg to thwart Bernie's chance at a presidency, and so on with Buttigieg and whomever. The media tells us that Biden's electable and that we want Biden. But why? Why do we want Biden? What is great about Biden? What is electable about Biden? What does Biden offer? He's not Trump. Vote for Trump if you don't like him. Yes, he does offer that. But that's it. And what he really offers, truly, is not much of a leap or step in logic, is he offers you the status quo. What is it about America right now, when you look at America, that you see that we want the status quo. Yes, older voters may feel through their experience and pragmatism, something like that, that the realisticness that things can't change so drastically. They may feel that you know Biden's a more solid choice somehow. But if when they also feel, as younger and younger and younger people feel, a whole lot of really profound feeling of, and even younger ones, because they might have hope, that might block out some of what they feel there. And older ones, they really, people between in their 30s and 40s, they should know, people who know a little bit more about the past and where we've come from, they should be able to see and feel how bad it's getting and how it's worse than it was and how this disappointment is long, and the corporate and whatever else influence the Democratic Party and their efforts are decades in. Uh, we've been thinking about time going past. We've been arguing about getting a good healthcare system for 15 years, and we're seem to be 15 years away from it. It's just if you're sick, we're gonna double penalize you. Nation, marathon-a-thon. It is really, really rough, and it's not right. And a lot of people, a lot of Americans, just whatever party you are, whatever side of the Democratic Party you lean, a lot of Americans really do. If you were in touch, if you were feeling it at all, people have made the argument 1,000 times. That's why Trump was elected. They're not really looking for the status quo so much. They're not really looking for a Joe Biden if they're honest with themselves. Joe Biden, he really just is and only offers the same old. And I feel like the media is telling us that that's what we want. That's what we're wanting. But in reality, that is very out of touch. It is not what we actually want. We want something much different than the status quo. Big changes to be made, and hope, real hope, true hope, and a better society, and with better action in response to the environment and to switching over energy and taking care of water for people, supporting local farmers who might have better practices for the long term, focusing on education. These things, like these pivots, making healthcare affordable and have to where people can actually not worry about going to the doctor, which Bernie's plan sufficiently does. These are major issues, and Bernie has a plan to address them. Joe Biden has a plan to leave it all alone and let the free markets reign, and Jeff Bezos, amass and accrue another $100 billion, while the American people struggle and go into debt and get swallowed by debt and get swallowed by diseases and medical bills, which go back to the environment. The environment's health is our health sometimes. Very much so. If your kid has lead poisoning and it comes from the something in the public or whatever, there should be liability there, like real liability there, and everything else that can be linked. Like I heard, there's lots of cases in Louisiana or different states where illnesses, cancers can be linked to industry. That's a failing of both industry leaders and government leaders. So the people who've been in power, running basically both parties, they don't want you to think about all their bad choices and bad along with the good, lots and lots of bad decisions and turns that they've made, and especially economically, with acquiescing and giving in to greed and those dangers of really keeping the public and the masses in ignorance while you rewrite tax codes and make a way, with extracting all the profit into your bank accounts with money that never expires, while the land suffers, the long-term prospects suffer. The, you know, while like science and technology and medicine, everything could be improving more rapidly and could be more advanced than it actually is. Um, Everything is about putting profits first and extracting wealth. Wall Street, you know, profits should get taxed more than regular persons, brick and mortar business, but it's not that way. Super PACs donating a lot of money to campaigns should experience a lot of taxes that would go back into making elections more certain and trustable and fair, and election materials and debates more objective. But we don't see anything changing. There's just so many things that are not changing, that are not ideal whatsoever, that could use a lot of change and make people's lives better. But they just want to argue over which one of them, the Democrats or the Republicans, can talk about how they're making things better. Which ideas and romantic fairy tales sound more better to more people's ears, although from both of them, that's all you're getting is BS, fairy tale, lip service, empty promises. Both Biden and Warren are chronic liars. They're idiots. And they will get destroyed by Trump.